Hello, my name is David Ehrenberg. I'm the Executive Director of Arizona Tenants Union at tenantsunion.net. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about repairs, how you can get them if you're having a problem in your apartment. This would go for both minor repairs and also I'm going to discuss serious repairs as well. For minor repairs, the Landlord-Tenant Act provides a remedy, which is that you can spend up to half a month's rent or $300, whichever is greater, to make the repair and deduct the cost from the rent. Now, or from the next month's rent. Now, this can be an effective strategy. However, as with every strategy in the Landlord-Tenant Act, there are specific notice requirements and specific ways that you have to serve documents. This particular provision of the Landlord-Tenant Act requires a 10-day notice. What a 10-day notice means is more complicated than you think. When does the 10 days start? When does it end? How many days do you have to allow for certified mail to reach the landlord? For these reasons, if you want to effectuate the repair of a minor condition, you need to call Arizona Tenants Union, tenantsunion.net. Now, if you have a more serious repair, there are a variety of remedies available under the Landlord-Tenant Act. The problem is that each repair has its own remedy. There's a separate remedy for lack of essential services than there is for a fire or flood or other casualty damage. I'm not going to go into detail now about how each of these different remedies works because it's too complicated, except to reiterate there are specific notice requirements and there are specific service requirements. So if you're having a more serious problem with your apartment, again, you should call Arizona Tenants Union, tenantsunion.net. Now there's a couple of other things that you can do. One strategy that can be very, very effective is to organize a tenant association in your building. This would require going around and knocking on doors. We would actually send an organizer with you if you feel a little bashful about doing that. We would have to find a meeting location before we establish the meeting in one of the larger buildings. But the advantage of this strategy is that if you can get 100 tenants, each of whom withholds $300 or threatens to withhold $300 from his rent to make repairs, now you're putting the landlord on the hook for $30,000. 100 times $300 per tenant is $30,000. That's significant bargaining power. Organizing your building is a very effective way of forcing the landlord to correct building-wide conditions. There's a couple of other remedies the Landlord-Tenant Act provides. These are less effective, but I'm going to go over them very briefly because it's part of the law. You can call building inspectors. Now there are 4 cities in Arizona that actually have rental codes, that is to say codes that set forth requirements that the landlord has to follow in order to keep his building up. Those cities are Tempe, Phoenix, Glendale, and Tucson. What that means is that all of the other cities in Arizona do not have rental codes. Now the Landlord-Tenant Act does generally state that the building has to be kept up to a certain standard, but it is only in those 4 cities that the standard is specifically set forth and spelled out. And in those 4 cities, there is an inspection program. You can call an inspector. And you can actually go onto our website, which is tenantsunion.net, and there's links to the codes in all 4 of those cities. And you can look through the codes and you can determine whether or not the condition that in your unit or in your building falls within one of the categories. And if it does, we also have links and resources to the city inspectors. You can have them come out, they'll do an inspection. If there's a problem, they'll cite the inspection and they'll cite the landlord. The problem is that an order from a building inspector to repair a condition isn't the same as repairing the condition. tenantsunion.net is our website, Arizona Tenants Union. Give us a call today, go on our website, and we'll try to help you with whatever kind of problems you're having with your landlord.